1984年の夏、僕はホンダ F1 チームの総監督になりました。そして9月のイタリアグランプリに初めて F1 レースに行ったわけです。当時のホンダは1984年から前線参戦をしましたけれども、まだなかなか勝てない状態が続いていました。実際にモンツァのサーキットに行ってみて、予選でもエンジンが壊れてしまう、またレースでも2台とも10周いかずにリタイアしてしまいました。大変屈辱的な思いを味わって日本に帰ってきて、これはもう一回ゼロから考え直して挑戦するしかないと、そういうふうに思いました。全く新しいエンジンを開発し始めたのです。そして1985年のカナダグランプリにそのエンジンを投入しました。ウィリアムズ・ホンダの2人のドライバー、当時はケケ・ロズベルグとナイジェル・マンセルでしたけれども、このカナダグランプリで初めて2人が揃って入賞しました。そして1週間後のデトロイトで行われたアメリカグランプリで勝つことができたのです。この年最後に3連勝をするなどして1年の間に4勝を挙げることができました。ようやくどうすれば勝つことができるのか、またチャンピオンへの一つの道が見えてきた、そんな時でした。当時我々がターゲットにしてたのは、まず第一にマクラーレン・ポルシェ、プロストでした。またフェラーリ、アルボレート、そしてロータスのセナ、こうしたチームドライバーが我々のライバルでした。その中でもアイルトン・セナは84年にデビューして、トールマンからデビュー後すぐにモナコグランプリで2位に入るなど多くの注目を集めていました。そして85年にはポルトガルで初優勝を飾ったのです。僕も若いセナがどういうふうに走るのか、またどんな未来に可能性があるのか注目をして見ていました。その頃レースではうちのケケ・ロズメウとドライバーとセナがよくやり合って、時にはぶつかることもありました。随分気の強いドライバーだなと思ったりしました。また予選を見てみますと、1回目よりも2回目のアタックが必ず 0.5 秒以上タイムアップする。またその2回目のタイムアタックは予選終了間際に出ていって、本当に素晴らしい走りで、ポールポジションを取ってしまう。やると思えば何としてもやるんだという感じが我々の心にも伝わってきました。1986年の5月、アイルトン・セナが初めて僕のところを訪ねてきました。ちょうどモナコグランプリの行われた5月の木曜日、予選が終わって夕方、僕の泊まっているホテルの部屋に訪ねてきたのです。そしてホンダエンジンをどうしても欲しいということを切々と訴えました。また彼がどれだけ全てを F1 にかけているか、大変理路整然と説明をするわけですけれども、一方ではその一つ一つの言葉に彼の情熱がこもっていました。また部屋に入ってきた時から何か一陣の爽やかな風が吹き込んできたような、そんな爽快なイメージを僕は覚えました。このミーティングがきっかけとなって87年からのロータスホンダが誕生したのです。そろそろ日本人ドライバーを F1 界に、そう思っていた僕はこのセカンドドライバーに中島悟を起用しました。そして86年の8月、ロータスの工場でエンジニアミーティングが開かれました。この時ホンダのエンジニアたちはセナに対して来年はどういうふうになるのか、どんなマシンになるのかを説明したわけですが、それを聞き終わったセナは87年から タコメーター、回転計ですが、これが液晶メーターになるということだけども、その液晶表示の一本一本の光の筋は何回転を示しているのだろうか、そういう質問をしました。エンジニアたちは200回転ぐらいだと答えたわけです。そうしましたらセナは、それはぜひ100回転にしてほしい、そういう注文を出したのです。でこれにはホンダのエンジニアたちも大変びっくりしました。と言いますのも、通常 F1 ドライバーといってもせいぜい回転系の認識は200から300回転がいいところで、またそれを覚えてないドライバーもたくさんいるんです。ところがセナは100回転刻みで見ることができ、またそれを正確に覚えることができるというわけですから、びっくりしたわけです。こうしたことから付き合いが始まって、付き合いが深まるほどにアイルトン・セナの持っている大変優れたセンシング能力、今何が起きているか、今マシンで何が起きているかを感知する能力、そういうものには何度もびっくりしました。そしてまたそれらを通してホンダとセナの信頼関係が醸成されていったわけです。1986年はウィリアムズ・ホンダ、ネルソン・ピケ、ナイジェル・マンセル体制で初のコンストラクターズチャンピオンを獲得しました。その年の12月の終わりになって、セナが僕のところに電話をしてきました。87年からの希望と期待に燃えたセナだったんですけども、その電話では、急に沈んだ声で「ミスター桜井、来年のロータスのマシンはダメかもしれないよ」っていうわけです。なぜなんだというと、開発体制が良くないんだと、またマネージメントにも問題があるということを一生懸命僕に言いました。そして年が変わった87年の正月、彼は1日に2度も3度も電話をしてきて、87年の展望、また88年以降どうしたらいいだろうかというようなことを話し合いました。そうした中からマクラーレン・ホンダというイメージが生まれてきたのです。1987年は一方のウィリアムズ・ホンダはピケがチャンピオンになるなどして完全制覇、2年連続チャンピオンを決めました。しかしロータスはセナが予見したようにマシントラブルが続出して期待通りの成績を収めることができませんでした。もちろんセナはドライバーの力が特に発揮されるストリートコース、デトロイトとモナコで優勝を遂げましたが、全体としては満足のいく結果ではなかったわけです。そうした状況の中でマクラーレンのロンデンス、あるいはアラン・プロストとの話し合いも進み、この年の9月、マクラーレン・ホンダセナ・プロスト体制を世界に発表しました。いよいよセナはエンジンのみならずシャーシーも信頼できるマシンを得て、チャンピオンを取る希望に燃えて、この年の秋を迎えたわけです。1987年の秋、久しぶりに日本でグランプリが開かれました。この時東京に来たセナと僕はスタジオで対談をしました。ボリューム1はこの時の模様を映したものです。いよいよ未来に向けて発信する、そうした希望に満ちたセナの姿をご覧ください。
I think this is going to be a new stage in my career. Although I am quite young, I have done many years of motor racing. Not so many in Formula 1, only 4 years in Formula 1, but before Formula 1, a lot of years of my life have been involved with motor racing, starting with go-karts. And now, in 89, in 88, with McLaren Honda, it's going to be a new stage of my career where I still should learn a lot in a new team. I will have to adjust, I'll have to get used with the new system, the new structure of a new team, new people, a new car, new regulation for engines, many new things, and I have to concentrate very much to get adjust with this new situation as quick as possible. So hopefully right from the beginning of the racing season, which should start in Brazil, I hope to be well used with the new system and therefore start with good results right from the beginning. I think McLaren it's a very professional team, and they have proved over the past few years that they have been very successful. They have had two top drivers most of the time working together, and they've been capable of giving both drivers the same possibility technically to have good results. They have, of course, in Alain Prost, one of the best, if not the best driver in Formula 1, very successful. And of course, for me to arrive in a new team as a newcomer, to work together with a twice world champion, so successful driver, it's going to be a big challenge to be able to work together and therefore add power, joint power, myself and himself, to make the team even stronger, develop the equipment, the chassis and the engine better, because working together we can make it quicker development. And when we are then on a race day, when the car is on the circuit and we are there, of course it's going to be very hard to compete together, because for me he's one of the best, he's used with the team, and I will have to learn a lot and get used with everything. The only thing that I have as a positive point is that I know already how Honda people work. I know already quite a bit about the engine, and that is going to help me, I think. But it's going to be a very competitive year for me.
我々がね、マクラーレンと、パートナーとしてねやろうとしてることは、かなり夢としては、大きいものをね狙っているわけですよ。でそれは単に今シーズンを勝つということだけではなくてね、今までの F1 の、歴史にねなかったようなものを作り出したいと。それはいろんな面でね。ですから、その第一歩ってことになるわけですね、今年は。 ですから、新しいチームがねできた時っていうのは、昨年のそのロータスの場合でもそうだったですけどね、それこそ、エンジニアリングのドッキングの問題からね、いろんな面でその習慣とかそういうものが違うから、それが一つのものに一致してくるまで時間かかるわけですよね。それを、昨年のその秋から、ずっとやってきてるわけで、そういう意味では、今シーズンスタートがその3月20日というふうに早いんだけどもね、なんとかギリギリでそのスタートに間に合うかなという感じだと思うんです。だから本当に調子が出てきてっていうのは、そういう今シーズンのレースという意味で言ってね、調子が出てきてっていうのはやっぱり、7月からということになると思うんですね。だからそこのところは進めているその準備がどこまでうまくいき、4、5、6の最初の序盤戦でね、いろいろトライアンドエラーでお互いにどこまで向上できるかと、それが7月からに花が咲いてくると、こういう感じがしてますね。それで、我々がやってるものっていうのはエンジン、シャーシー、そしてドライバーという3つの勝つためのね、要素それぞれが、全体としては今までないほどシステマチックでありね、なおかつそこでお互いの個性っていうのが、なんていうんですかね、最大限に発揮できるというか、そういうものを狙ってるわけですね。だからそういう意味ではそのセナにしてもプロストにしてもね、その中に入って、十分全体の、トータルシステムを理解しながら、しかも自分の個性、自分のパワー、エネルギーっていうのをね発揮できるドライバーだというふうに思ってるんですね。そういう意味では、ある意味で2人そういうことのできるドライバーっていうのは2人しかいないんじゃないかと、いうぐらいにね言えると思うんですよ。ですから後半戦ね、そういうものが今年第一歩としてのねが実ってくるんじゃないかなというふうに思ってますけどね。
Like a new marriage between Honda and McLaren, to the working relationship between the engineers from both places, from McLaren and Honda, the new project of the new car with the Honda power, to put everything together and working not only quick car but also consistent, reliable. It's normal that it takes some time. What I believe is most important is to have a good project from the beginning that has the right design, the right building technique, and therefore it will be developed with the time, and it will be competitive and more competitive all the time. And I agree that it's normal that at the beginning you have some problems. The question is how long it will take for everything to be working perfect, or nearly as perfect. And I have a great confidence that both Honda and McLaren will produce the right equipment to achieve success at the time necessary. I think to win not only 1 or 2 races in a year, but consistent to have success consistent. That then gives you a championship. It is necessary to have a good understanding between everybody working on the same project, and that means the engine manufacturer, the chassis manufacturer, the drivers, the engineers, the management, everything has to work together. So once you have such a situation of a mutual understanding and a mutual consensus, same thinking from behind, the same policy, on top of that, the personal individual value also, you then have the ingredients for success. And I agree. I think it's going to be difficult at the beginning until everybody learns how to work together in the new setup. But I believe that the ingredients are all there, available. It's a question of time and how everything will be put together. I am very much, because before I start working with Honda, when I was already at Lotus, I, of course, follow very close the development of the Honda involvement in Formula 1 and the commitment that they have from behind and the success that they achieve. And of course, I start to get more and more interest to know about the Honda way of doing Formula 1. And eventually, I realized it was a very important thing to, if possible, be part of it. And since I had the opportunity to start a working relationship, I learned a lot about not only motor racing, but a lot about the commitment from behind, the commitment of the people involved in a program, the way of thinking, the wish of success. And since then I have developed a kind of relationship where I have great confidence on their decisions, on their commitments, because I know they will always come up with something as good as the best, at least, if not the best. And I believe it's a bit embarrassing to say that in Japan, you know, in front of Mr. Sakurai, but it is a true feeling that I believe very much in Honda commitment and in Honda judgment. So next year we'll have a 2.5 bar engine, and I'm sure when the time is necessary, if it's necessary a change, we'll have also a normal aspirate engine. So it is something that I'm not concerned. It's something that you forget. So you are able to concentrate on other things, to do better in other areas. And that's very important. At the same time, when I said it was necessary for me a change in the team side, going to McLaren, is because I feel the same towards to McLaren. Although I have not started close working basis, but I got into a feeling, a conclusion that McLaren has a similar thinking and a similar attitude. And you got to work on today Formula 1 racing, you got to have the ability to believe totally in the people that you are working together. So that means in the Honda supplier power, in the chassis engineers design, in the team structure, and if you are able to feel that you have a big support from behind, then of course you'll be able to produce a better performance. That is not only on the practical side, but also on the mental side. And that's why I am very confident about the future. I am really sure it's a question of time, only a question of time. And since I'm driving with Honda, I don't remember of having had an engine failure, not in one single race. When I had one, it was not the engine failure, it was a car failure that produced an engine failure. And until then, when I was driving for other teams, other manufacturers, engine was something always worry in the race. And since I had the opportunity to drive with this peace of mind regarding the engine, it's so much easy for you. You can push harder, you can try harder without thinking or without having in your mind maybe the engine is going to have a problem. And that is very, very important. To me, Formula 1 racing or a Formula 1 car, it's a very sophisticated machine that produces very high speeds. And when you are driving on the personal side, let's say, you have a very great excitement with the feeling that you are going very fast, with the feeling that you are going close to the limits. That means not only maximum speed in a straight line, but high speed in a corner, or a late braking maneuver where you feel you are close to the limit of losing control and maybe having an accident. So every time you are close to those limits, the excitement increases, and your heart goes quicker, and your breath goes stronger, and it is all the time very important that you keep self-control, not only when you are driving on your own, so you are just trying to go a little quicker and quicker and quicker, to not exceed those limits, because sometime if you exceed one of those limits, it could mean a big accident, could mean a big injury or your life. On the other hand, when you are driving together somebody, you are fighting for a position, then is even more important to keep self-control, because sometimes you have some very close fights, sometimes you could get angry with the other driver, and then you could take action outside of your reason, just by your heart, and that could mean also a bad result, a bad injury or a bad accident. So there are two ways of doing it. One is by your heart, and one is a combination of your heart and your brain, you know. And of course, the one that gives you more enjoyment, more excitement, is by your heart, because that means just doing it by your feeling, just natural feeling. And the other one when you use your reason, your thinking, then thousands of things go in your mind while you're driving. For instance, the responsibility you have at that moment with all team members, all sponsors, everybody involved, direct or indirect, behind you. So when you think about all that, it takes a lot of the pleasure away, because the responsibility being big, the tension builds up a lot, and the pleasure decrease. But this is a profession, and so you have to learn how to make a combination of your profession and your pleasure. Because I also believe you can only perform as a racing driver if, first of all, you have pleasure. That's the most important thing, because that will give you motivation. Motivation for being away from your home most of your time, being away from your family, from your friends, from your country most of your time, being in hotels, restaurants, airplanes, airports for most of the year. And when you do it, when you travel once a year, few days for pleasure, is enjoyable. But when you travel consistent every week, sometimes twice, 3 times a week, different countries, different places, it becomes very heavy. It becomes tiring. So the life of a racing driver has the glorious side, the excitement, the financial side, but has another hard side, which is your life, risk of your life, risk of your health, the penalty of traveling a lot, being away from the people you love to be together, away from your country. And so the only proper motivation for you to keep hard work, concentration, and good performance, I think, is enjoyment of driving. So you have to find a compromise between the profession and the heart driving to make a balance for your profession, for your performance, for your life. If I enjoy? Not always. Not always. As I was describing, there are moments that is very difficult to keep your mind cool, keep your feeling clear and positive, because it's a big fight all the time. But generally, of course, I enjoy. Otherwise, I wouldn't be doing it. I think is when I look back my career, when I used to do, for instance, go-karting, just for fun, as my hobby, I was very hard driving and little head driving. And I had success. I had good success. But I learned during the years that I was doing, in many occasions where I had some mechanical failures or accidents, that was due because I was trying too hard, driving too hard with my heart. So maybe it was very exciting, spectacular, but in the final result, consistent was not the best. And so of course I try to learn from every mistake I make, from every wrong decision I make, to not allow it to happen again. And that is what I call experience that I have had a great opportunity to start from very young and doing it every weekend, every month, every year, during several years. I had a good opportunity of learning it on the practical side. Since I come to Formula 1, as a newcomer, it was difficult to keep control, self-control, to not exceed those limitations, because deep inside I believe I am very strong in a way of driving. I mean, I want always to go faster. That's my nature. That's what I call nature. Even with experience and learning everything, you have a nature. And my nature is always a big fight, trying harder, trying to go faster, trying to be winner, and quicker. So I know that this is my natural characteristic. And knowing that, I try with the reason to control that and to improve that side, in order that in a long term I know that I will get a better achievements if I control it. So I know I have a big natural feeling for driving, but today I believe, I also know that this is not enough. If you have that natural feeling, you need a very strong control, very, very clear mind on top of it, so you can develop. And since I come to Formula 1, to start, I was very anxious to do well as quick as possible, to win as soon as possible. And it was very hard to control myself. Very, very hard to control, but just try. You still make mistakes. Sometimes you still exceed. But on the other hand, even if you try to be perfect, nobody's perfect. And you can only try hard to learn from your own mistakes, and to learn by looking other people doing it as well. And that's what I call concentration. And I think I try very hard, very, very hard on the concentration side, to understand as best as possible all the situations that present to me in different occasions, different circuits, different cars, different conditions, everything. It's so important for me to be able to read out the situation as it presents to me, in order that I have a quick reaction, but a correct reaction for it. And in '87, for instance, I knew I didn't have a car to start a race and determine the pace of the race and then to win. I realized that from the beginning. And as I realized that, I had to control very much myself, for instance, in many occasions at the beginning of some races, to not push very hard, because I would lose performance from the car, from the whole race. So I had to wait, leave the other cars, go a bit ahead, and wait for the right moment of technical conditions of my car to push harder and try to come back and fight. And this is very hard. When you have the machine in your hand and you have the possibility of increasing your power on your dashboard, or you have the possibility of pushing harder the throttle or braking later, it's difficult to control. It's difficult to have all that and leave it for later. Yeah. You understand? Because it's there. And when somebody is pushing you from behind and you are under pressure, the normal reaction is to try immediately to go away. Or when somebody is ahead of you and is going away, the immediate reaction is to try to follow it. But many times if you do it, you will damage your equipment during the whole race distance. So you have to learn how to control and how to keep the equipment in the best condition as possible for the whole race. Sometimes means saving it a lot at one stage because it would be very expensive. And then later, when the conditions are the best, taking out everything you have from the car to make a good performance. So it is difficult to keep self-control and self-level. It is very difficult. Okay, a Grand Prix driver has great interest, especially women. A lot of interest about the Grand Prix driver, the personal side. And so I suppose you could have lots of opportunities to meet new people, especially women. The problem is that those situations especially happen over a race weekend. And over a race weekend, there is not much time left because you go to the circuit early in the morning, you drive and you work and you are very tense, so you get very tired. You come back to the hotel only 6, 7 o'clock in the evening, sometimes 8 o'clock in the evening, and you are very tired. And your mental feeling, mental attitude is very committed to the racing, to your following day and to the Sunday. So you don't have a proper mind to think about women. You understand? And therefore it becomes very hard to, let's say, get to know new people and to be together with new people because there's no time. And when there is a little time, your mind is also not in the best frame. I think if you are a professional driver, if you are really committed with your professional, with your team, with the people that are working for you, because you have always to take in consideration that after you leave the circuit 7 o'clock in the evening, for instance, most of the races, your mechanics, your engineers still stay there, working your car, preparing your car for the next day. And many times they work until midnight. Many times they work the whole night. So it's a great sense of responsibility you have. And if you go out with the girl and you make love with the girl during the night, and the following day, okay, you wake up, you go to the circuit, you can drive. But I don't think you'll be driving 100% because you will not be relaxed physically. You will not have a proper rest and you will not perform as you should, at least at the same level of commitment of the people that are working with you. And I consider that very important to correspond with the people that I'm working at the same level. So, okay, it helps when you are outside of a racing environment. So, for instance, for me, especially when I'm in Brazil, when I go back to Brazil between tests or races, or at the end of year, I have no racing to do, no testing, so I have time. So I have my mind open for any hobby, anything, for any activity. And I have also the time. So if it's necessary, I can go through the whole night without sleeping. It's no problem, because the following day I can sleep. Okay, or even if I cannot sleep, if I'm tired, I'm not driving a racing car, I'm not doing anything. Yes. Well, before I start working together in '87, for instance, I have been in Japan in '78 to race in go-kart. And to give example, I was using Italian equipment, but Japanese tires, Bridgestone tires. And I did the World Championship race and then came to Japan to do a Grand Prix in Japan with go-kart. And I could not understand the Japanese way. Okay, I was only 18 years old. I was just starting to go out of Brazil, but I could not quite understand the reaction, the attitude on that experience I had. In that case, with the tires that I used from Bridgestone, so I had some relationship with Bridgestone people. And so I came to Japan, and I was here 1 week, and I went back then, and I could never understand very well. Then my next contact, closer contact with Japanese people, Japanese mentality, start with Honda. And that was end of '85, just. But very small contact. I really start a more closer contact in '86. And the attitude I had right from the beginning, end of '85 and beginning '86, when I met different people, when I have been many meetings, different places, many occasions I was on my own, and I had 4, 5 Honda members, all of them older than I am, so of course with much more experience in life than I have. My attitude, my thinking was, first, I believed it was a very positive and important step as a professional to start a relationship, and to start it correct, in a positive way, in a good manner. So during those meetings, those contacts, the only way I believe I could establish a proper relationship was by being exactly what I am, of course, using the reason, but using the heart, okay? And acting that way, I think I had the fortune situation to develop a fantastic relationship, a good understanding, and a great confidence on the relationship and with the people that I was talking and working together. And I think I met the right people. I was fortunate to meet the right people. I could have met not so good people, because in this world, unfortunately, it's a hard world. But I was very fortunate to have the right attitude, the right mentality with the right people. And therefore, I developed a fantastic understanding, even with the difference of language, the difference of I am Latin American, completely away from Japan, opposite. When Japan is midnight, Brazil is midday, so exactly at the opposite side of the world. I had everything work well, and there is no explanation apart from that. Everything went in a natural way, with one thinking from behind, of course, always. Very consistent thinking from behind was always to be correct, professional, and looking for success. So I had more or less established for myself those three directions, those three ingredients. And from these three ingredients, I work away from there. And whether it's a similar way of Japanese thinking or not, I believe it was just a coincidence. You understand? No. My life dream is to enjoy what I'm doing, is to, of course, win the championship, not once, but as long as I am driving, is to always maintain a high professional level of working, and always have the respect of the people that are direct or indirect involved with me. And on the personal life, of course, is to find the special woman that I was talking before, to partner my life, my professional life, my private life, and have a good life in a wedding, in a marriage, with children, and continue having the extraordinary relationship I have with my family, right from young, forever, and be healthy and positive about life until it lasts. Thank you. I'm sure it's going to be a new challenge for Honda to win again with McLaren, and from the experience I had with Honda so far, the relationship I established with all team members from Honda, all engineers, mechanics, I have developed a great admiration for their way of doing things, their behavior, their attitude, their commitment, and their wish for success. It's something very special, and I'm sure it will continue in this new project with McLaren. And I'm very proud, in a way, to be part of it.
今年のはやっぱりいろんな意味でね、そのエンジニアリングとか、エンジニアリングとかドライビングとか、そういうことだけじゃなくて、まず最初に言ったようなね、そのマネジメントシステムと個性の両立みたいなねことにしても、あるいはそのカルチャーとかいろんなそういういろんな意味を込めてね、やっぱり歴史への挑戦、つまりライバルに勝つということではなくて歴史への挑戦という第一歩にしたいと。だからそういう夢に対してね、一緒に 頑張っていきたいということですね。We want to make a new history together.
Yes, I think it's going to be, it is a big challenge, but I think it's possible. And I think we are going to work for that very hard. Okay, thank you, Sakurai.